Let's check out this tune out of nowhere. It's got a lot of chords in it, but it's a great tune to practice on. First we've got to check out the head. We want to learn the melody and then look at the chord scales. I like to learn the melody of the tune properly because it's a place from which to step off into your solo to create lines so that you have a relationship with the melody in the development of your lines. The track that you're going to play on is quite slow, but it's good practice. Let's look at this tune in real time.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
See, when I play the scales, I try and play the scales into each other, and that's something that you could try and practice. So how does, G major scale run into the next chord? So you've got to be prepared for that, because you might be in a situation where you start a line and then the chord's changing, and you have to be able to fix that. So that's why I like to play off of the melody. You see how that arpeggio, so I think now I've got to change the scale, so I'm stuck halfway as if I was going to go to G. But I can't, I've got to go, and I need to change to E flat 7. So that's how it's sort of... E7 again. A minor 7 into E flat 7. A minor to D. You remember I said if you play whatever you do on the 2-5, you'll be able to do a flat 5 a way of giving the substitute. Very strong ways to go to the next chord via a dominant. So the tune then. Go ahead and practice it. Enjoy. Hey guys, when you're playing or practicing these scales, it's a lot of work and trying to get things to flow into each other, but You want to remember that there's a sense of freedom when you're playing. You can change things up. If you see a D7 chord, you can play A flat 7. If you feel like taking a little bit longer to get to something, you can do that. You need to retain a sense of freedom when you're practicing and when you're playing. You want to always have forward motion. So this idea of having a chord and it tells you that, oh, but it says that chord and I must play that chord, that is absolute rubbish. You know, you don't want to be given a chart where you're told what to do and where and what you can say at what point. Think of music as a conversation. You know, we're having a conversation about something, and I can't tell you what to say. I can't tell you when to say it. You know, we're interrupting each other. The conversation could change. These are all the sort of nuances of interaction. And it's the same with music. If you want to make music, you really need to have a command of the language in a way that you can change things up. And there are ways of doing this. There's humor, there's kind of expression, and there are all kinds of nuances which you can experiment with. So if you're busy playing a scale and the bar says it's changed and you haven't got to the chord yet, it doesn't matter. Get to it a little bit later or leave it out. Try and get a sense of the expression and then within the sort of overall brief of the tune. So these are the overall changes. I see E7, I think B flat. Why can't I? So I see that's A minor to E7, but I could think, and then I think B flat. Now I'll stick with this. Think A flat 7. So I'm kind of trying to create music in a way that is forward moving. The fact that something hasn't finished being played. You see there I'm playing the A minor but I haven't finished playing the E7. F minor to B flat 7 instead of B minor to E7. It's odd, but it's correct. You know, F7. Maybe I'm supposed to go to G. It tells me I'm supposed to go to G there, but I don't feel like going to G there yet. I haven't finished my sentence. So you can see how there's a lot of freedom in the conversation of jazz music, and you want to retain that. This idea of playing to, you know, I've got to make this chord and I've got to make this chord. That's not the sense of freedom. So you want to retain that always when you're practicing. Forward motion.